Hey guys, Zach here with the Anything and Everything show, and this is another segment of Zach's Corner. Now, you've already seen 2 episodes of this segment where I talked about 5 Blu-rays. Today, I'll be talking about box sets. So my first box set that I'll be talking about with you guys today is the Dark Knight trilogy. Now, this box set is my favorite version of all the movies. It's a nice looking box set. It's a limited edition too, and as you can see, here's what's in it. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, it's a great box set, and let's dive into it. So this is me unboxing my Dark Knight trilogy. We take the lid off here, and then we got a letter from Christopher Nolan, just thanking the fans for and the achievement of this trilogy. So yeah, that's really nice. And then what else we got in here? Alright, we got this nice booklet. Look at that. Yeah, that's awesome. And this is actually brand new. I got this like 2 months ago from eBay. Brand new. Because I used to have the Dark Knight movies on like just regular Blu-ray, but I wanted like the box set, you know? Look at this. I mean, Batman Begins. Let's talk about Batman Begins first. I mean, Batman Begins, what can I say? It's amazing. I mean, I remember when I first saw it, when it came out on DVD. My dad got it for me, and I watched it. And Scarecrow terrified me. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I was like, 10 years old? I mean, you know, when you're a 10-year-old, you see Scarecrow with that scary mask and stuff coming out of the mask. And I know that was the toxin that was going on, but that Scarecrow was using. But the fear toxin, I think is what it's called. But, yeah, Scarecrow terrified me. So I only watched the movie once, and I never watched it again until 2011. Then I finally sat down and watched all the Batman films. Well, Batman Begins, and my next film I'm going to talk about, probably the greatest comic movie of all time. It's definitely my top 3 favorite comic book movies of all time. The Dark Knight. I mean, The Dark Knight. Even on the back of the regular Blu-ray, it said, "Prepare to be wowed." I was wowed. I saw Dark Knight in theaters. I was 12, 13, maybe? 12 or 13 years old. I saw it on my birthday in July 2008 at the theater. And Two-Face scared me. Like, the way his face looked. I remember being so terrified of that. Joker didn't scare me. I love Joker. So Heath Ledger's Joker is, like, my favorite Joker, and I mean, he just stole that role. Like, man. Like, I always think to myself, how would Batman films have gone on if Heath Ledger were still alive? Like, think about it. You know, Dark Knight Rises would have been completely different. Because Heath Ledger's Joker would have returned. Guaranteed. If he was still alive, you know? So, yeah. So, yeah. And I'll talk more about what Dark Knight Rises was actually supposed to be later in this video. But yeah, this movie's. I mean, I've watched The Dark Knight more times than any other movie that I own or that I have. You know, more than any movie. You know, more than any Marvel movie, The Dark Knight. I've watched so many times. Like, I know every single scene in this movie. I know all the dialogue. I know. This movie's incredible. Like, it's really remarkable what Nolan was able to do with The Dark Knight. And this was, by the way, real quick, this is my favorite movie of 2008. Like, you look at 2008, you had what? Iron Man, you had The Incredible Hulk, you had Punisher Warzone, you had Hellboy and the Golden Army, Hellboy 2, the Golden Army. What else came out in 2008? I can't remember, but those were the movies I remember, and The Dark Knight was better than all of them. I'm just gonna say that right now. So yeah, Dark Knight, my favorite movie of 2008 is The Dark Knight. And Batman Begins might be my favorite movie of 2005. What came out in 2005? We had Fantastic Four, Batman Begins, Yeah. Batman gets my favorite movie of 2005. Yeah. All right. So now we move on to the 2012 movie, Dark Knight Rises. Look at that. Oh, I love that shot of Bane walking away and Batman's mask just broken. That's awesome. What can I say about Dark Knight Rises? I mean, I saw this movie in theaters 2 times. First time I saw it, I loved it. Right? Like, you're like, oh my gosh, I witnessed the end of the Nolan trilogy. This is epic. This is epic. But then when you watch it more, you start to see a little bit of problems with the movie. Right? There's a few problems with it. It's definitely my least favorite of the trilogy. Like, Batman Begins and The Dark Knight are way above this movie. But this movie, Nolan, you understand, after Heath Ledger died, Nolan was like, well, I can't do the Batman 3 that I wanted to do. Right, but he was able to find a way to do to end the trilogy, to do The Dark Knight Rises. I believe it's set 8 years after The Dark Knight, which I did not like. I wanted a Bat movie like set 2 years after The Dark Knight or something, but 8 years, that's a long time. Like, basically, I mean, so but yeah, I mean, Tom Hardy's Bane. I actually love Tom Hardy's Bane. Like, I know a lot of people don't, like his Bane, and I get it. It's not comic book accurate, but again, the movies are the movies, the comic books are the comic books. They did Bane in a more realistic way, and I actually like Bane in this movie. It's good. I loved his voice when he said, "You have my permission to die." I just love that line, and when Batman says it to him, that's awesome. What else you got? I loved Gary Oldman in the film as Jim Gordon. I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt as what was his name in the movie? But he was Robin. I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt as what was his name in the movie? But he was Robin. But I was not a fan of Nolan making a different name for him. Like, I wanted him to be like Dick Grayson for Bell's Bat. Like, that's why he should have been. But Dick Grayson was never a cop, so I don't know how that. Maybe Nolan could have changed Dick Grayson's origin story. I don't know. There's ways he could have done it, but I felt the way Robin was used, like the way they revealed it was Robin in the end, was just, I don't know. I feel like Nolan could have done better with that. But I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt as an actor, and I thought he did everything he could with the movie. I love Michael Caine as Alfred. I mean, I thought he was the perfect casting choice for Alfred, and when they casted him. Yeah, Michael Caine as Alfred's great. Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox is always funny, especially when he shows Batman what was it called, Batjet or whatever it was, and then he's like, "Yes, Mr. Wayne, it does come in black." I mean, there's some that Bruce, his favorite color is black. But yeah, the comedy worked for me. Scarecrow makes a little cameo appearance in this movie like he did in The Dark Knight, so that's cool. Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. I mean, perfect casting in my opinion. I actually liked Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. Anne Hathaway could play anybody. She could play Black Cat, Silver Sable, Catwoman. Hell, she could play any. She could play Spider Woman. She could play any female comic book, hero or villain. But yeah, Anne Hathaway. I always liked Anne Hathaway. I think she's very beautiful, very smart, very talented. But yeah, her Catwoman was amazing. Yeah, the movie was great, honestly. Like, I had 2 great theater experiences with the movie. But again, the more you watch Dark Knight Rises, you realize, like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Wait a minute, that doesn't fit with the other 2 movies, But, Nolan, like I said, it was so hard for him to find a way to end the trilogy in the right way. Did I leave anybody out? Talia al Ghul, played by Marion Cotillard or someone. I think that's her name. Talia was interesting. Talia, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. I thought bringing her in was great. Her and Bruce got intimate in this movie. That could have been setting the stage for Damian Wayne down the line. So that's a little like nod. Damian Wayne is the son of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul. So it's interesting. If Nolan ever did a fourth Batman movie, there's only a few options that he could do. I mean, he could do Dark Knight Returns, which probably won't do that because Snyder already kind of did that. He could do Batman Beyond with Bale, by the way, Joseph Gordon-Levitt would have made a good Terry McGinnis back in, like, if they did a Batman Beyond film back in 2012. I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt would have been a good Terry. But right now, my pick for Dick Grayson or Terry McGinnis would be Dylan O'Brien. I just think Dylan O'Brien should play Robin right now, and whatever Batman is Batman, probably Robert Pattinson is Batman, But Dylan O'Brien would be a great choice for Robin. But yeah, this movie was this movie is incredible. I love watching the Dark Knight trilogy. I watch the trilogy once a year now. I've been starting to do that the last few years. So, because like I said, I did have the Blu-rays, but I wanted to get the box set recently. So that's why I got this, and I sold my Blu-rays, by the way, in case you're wondering. So I sold my Dark Knight Blu-rays, but because I wanted the box set. But yeah, this box set, you can find it on eBay. So I highly recommend getting this Blu-ray box. I know they made the Dark Knight trilogy on 4K, and I'm sure it looks great on 4K, but to me, it doesn't matter what's Blu-ray and what's 4K. What matters is the box set it comes in. Is this the best version of the movie that I can get? And it is, in my opinion. This box set's incredible. It also comes with a special feature disc and Batman on the Batpod. So yeah, that's really cool. And yeah, that's this. And then what else we got here? We got a couple more things in here, We got this booklet, Ultimate Collector's Edition. So this is like so it's a nice booklet that it comes with. You open it up and yeah, look at this. This is so cool. So yeah, it's just showing like pictures of from the movies. See that? Look at that. That's cool. So yeah, but I don't want to go through this entire booklet because I want you guys to get the box set and look for yourselves. But this is cool. If you look at that, so yeah, it's a very nice booklet. It really is a nice booklet. What else we got over here? We got a lot of stuff, guys. It's a nice box set. It really is. It's not that expensive. I mean, I paid under $100 for this. It was like $80 on eBay, brand new. So it's not as expensive as other box sets tend to be. It also comes with this. We got some cards. This is Ra's al Ghul. This is Scarecrow. This is Harvey Dent. This is a cool photo of Heath Ledger's Joker. Look at that. That's just so freaking cool. And we got Bane. So, yep. So all that is really cool to see. Let's see here. Put these back in here real quick. Okay, guys, so like when you're trying to put this back in, it doesn't matter how long it takes. You always want to make sure you get it back in the right way and make sure they're fine because, like I said, this stuff is very, very delicate. You don't want to rip anything or tear anything, I should say. What else we got here? And then we got, if you guys can see this, it's the vehicles. Now, I'm not going to take them out of the package, but see, it's the Batpod, the Tumbler, the, yeah, so it has all the vehicles here for you. So it's really cool. It has the Batpod. I think it has 2 tumblers. I don't think it has the aircraft he had in Dark Knight Rises. What's it called? The Batplane. I have to watch Dark Knight Rises again. But yeah, so that is the box set. Now, I want to talk about what Nolan's third Batman movie was actually supposed to be. Now, I've done a lot of reading online, guys, and Nolan's third Batman film was actually pretty far into pre-production. I mean, really, if you think about it, while he was filming The Dark Knight, Nolan already told David S. Goyer, who David S. Goyer has shared these details online. You can find the interviews where Nolan told him what the third Batman film was going to be. It was still going to be called Dark Knight Rises. But it was going to be like, we were supposed to have Leonardo DiCaprio as the Riddler. We were supposed to have Heath Ledger return as Joker, and Kristen Bell as Harley Quinn. And there's concept art about this. Anne Hathaway was always supposed to be Catwoman. Philip Seymour Hoffman was supposed to be Penguin. So that's interesting. I'm not sure if Bane would have been in the movie originally. Like I said, I think Nolan could have done 4 Batman films. If you watch Dark Knight Rises with Bane and Talia al Ghul and everything, you're like, this would have been a great 4th film, but there's like a film missing between The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. And that was that Batman movie that we were supposed to get with Philip Seymour Hoffman as Penguin, Leonardo DiCaprio as the Riddler, and Kristen Bell as Harley Quinn. And so that is what I read about what Nolan's third Batman film was supposed to actually be. So I think we would have got 4 of Nolan's Batman films, right? I honestly think we would have got 4, not 3. I think he would have done 4. But we will never know. Maybe he was just going to do 3, and maybe we were never going to see Bane in Nolan's world. But I think Nolan could have done 4 movies, and I think it would have been amazing to see, but it's still good. The Dark Knight trilogy works for what it is. The Dark Knight trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy was successful before the MCU was successful. It's funny because you go back to the MCU Phase 1, the Dark Knight trilogy, DC, had $2 billion films, Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. Marvel didn't have a $1 billion film till 2012, which was The Avengers. But The Dark Knight was the first comic book movie that actually made $1 billion. Because before The Dark Knight came out, studios were not high on comic book movies. I mean, you gotta understand, excuse me, studios, they were pumping out a lot of comic movies. You had Ghost Rider, Daredevil, Hulk. You had a Catwoman movie, Elektra, Fantastic Four. You even had a movie called Man Thing, which I saw and it was weird. I did not like that Man Thing 2005 movie. You had 2 Punisher movies. So DC was already beating Marvel before Marvel even got started. Now, I have read a theory that what if Man of Steel was connected to the Dark Knight trilogy? Imagine where the DC would be right now. Yes. I mean, who knows what it would be like now. I mean, Man of Steel would have fit with, but the problem is Man of Steel does not fit with the Dark Knight Rises. So I don't know, but I understand what people are saying. It's like, but imagine you had those 3 films, because Batman Begins would work as a first film in a cinematic universe. It really would. But again, Nolan wanted his film separate, because I read that Warner Bros. Wanted Nolan to, spearhead the DC universe. Nolan didn't want that. He just wanted to do 3 Batman films and be done with it, right? That's what he wanted. And Nolan picked. Here's the thing. People that hate on Snyder, but here's the thing. Nolan picked Zack Snyder to run DC. Warner Bros. Said, okay, we need to find somebody. Nolan had a list. You had Matthew Vaughn, Guillermo del Toro, J.J. Abrams. But Nolan ended up picking Zack Snyder, who just did Watchmen, Sucker Punch, 300, Dawn of the Dead. If you guys haven't seen Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, it's an amazing zombie movie. So yeah, but yeah. So Nolan was responsible for Zack Snyder. And by the way, like I said, I want to say this again. If you hate Zack Snyder, I understand that. But here's the thing. Warner Brothers messed with his movies. You know, except for Man of Steel. I don't think Warner Brothers messed with Man of Steel. But Batman v Superman was messed with, and so was Justice League, you know. And if they would have left Snyder alone and let him do his thing, you know, those movies would have done a lot better. Now, I will admit, though, you know, Snyder likes long movies, and doing a 3-hour Batman v Superman movie was just not possible at that time. Because there's never been a 3-hour comic movie in theaters that made, you know, significant money until we had Endgame. Now, after Endgame, if Warner Bros. Made Batman v Superman after Endgame, they would have said, okay, Snyder, do a 3-hour film. You know, Warner Bros. Hadn't seen the success of Deadpool. They didn't think Batman v Superman could be successful as R-rated. And then there's Justice League, which I don't know what would have happened if they would have left Snyder alone and we would have got a 4-hour Justice League movie in 2017. They would have had to done an intermission, or they would have actually had to split the movie into 2 parts. Which I think originally, when they announced the slate in 2014, wasn't Justice League called Justice League Part 1 and Justice League Part 2? So I think if you watch the Snyder Cut, you're like, this was supposed to be Part 1 and Part 2 of Justice League. Yep. Because I just don't know how Snyder would have convinced the studio to let him release a 4-hour Justice League in theaters. Right? Like I said, the only reason we got the Snyder Cut was because of HBO Max. If there was no HBO Max, they would not have released the Snyder Cut in theaters. 4 hours long is just not a movie people can... You know, you have to be a hardcore Zack Snyder fan to actually go to see a 4-hour Justice League movie in theaters. Which I am. And yes, if they released Snyder Cut, even though I've already seen it, if they released it in theaters tomorrow, I'd be buying a ticket. I definitely want to see it in theaters on the big screen. Back to the Dark Knight trilogy. So yeah... Guys, I highly recommend this box set. It's a great box set. It's real nice in my collection. And, yeah, it's limited edition, and it's amazing. And, so, yeah, I highly recommend this box set. Find it on eBay. Just type in Dark Knight Trilogy, and you'll find it eventually. I mean, there's different box sets of Dark Knight. There's the 4K box set. There's the Blu-ray box set. There's even a DVD box set. So by the way, when I say there's a Blu-ray box set, there's 2 or 3 different Blu-ray box sets of the Dark Knight trilogy. Like, they really milked out all these different versions of the Dark Knight trilogy. So, but I got the best version in my opinion. So yes. So yeah, that has been another installment of Zach's Corner. And I'm glad you guys are watching. I hope you like this video. I just want to give you my thoughts on one of the most popular trilogies of all time. If not the best trilogy of all time, which is the Dark Knight trilogy. So, yeah, I'll be doing more videos of these, talk about other box sets I have. But thank you guys for watching this video, and thank you for just letting me talk about movies, you know, because not many people want to listen to me talk about movies. So, really, thank you guys. Make sure you hit that notification bell and hit the subscribe button, and please comment, because I really want to know your thoughts on the Dark Knight trilogy. I love reading people's thoughts on the Dark Knight trilogy. I know I'm very weird, but I like hearing people's thoughts on everything. Every movie, I just like reading and see what they thought of things. I don't know. It's just who I am.